Hey there, we're live. Welcome to the Little House of Healing. These are models, so we can talk about baby movement with you too. But right now, just having a cup of coffee. I didn't realize when I was a mom, I just thought as long as you have them in a sling and you breastfeed them and give them milk and you do co-sleeping, and it's pretty much all good. So I didn't realize that you can actually look at your little one and kind of assist in places they're stuck, places where in that birth canal, they're sore, they have soreness or neck soreness. And I knew that my little ones, at times they would cry just out of the birth canal. I had 3 natural births. But I just would hold them and listen and just, try to make them comfortable. But I didn't really think about, wow, okay, the range of motion is something stuck here. Are they having pain in their neck and stuff? So this is upcoming. I'm a licensed massage therapist in Oregon, and I do prenatal and perinatal massage. But the reason why I just wanted to welcome you, I wanted to start with this because it's just been in my life lately. I went to working with babies with Kate White, and I'm a biodynamic craniosacral therapist also, and a polarity educator. So I want to have a cup of coffee with you. I'm just sitting, even though it's summer, I'm sitting by the hot stove here, and I kind of keep my coffee on there to keep it warm. So this is not a big, fast, flashy advertisement. I'm not good at that, and I barely, I'm kind of the kind of person that I just start puttering around the garden and the kitchen in the morning, and I barely wash my face and brush my hair. Like, I'm just like that around the house. And yes, I want to do more of that, I have to, because it's an era for me of speaking, which is fine. But cheers, here's a little coffee, and it's a Christmas cup. So even though it's like August, I am looking forward to winter, speaking of Christmas, and because I'm doing a 5-day live in person in Mexico, a polarity training. It's the level 1. It's a standalone if you're already a therapist. Take a sip. I got to take a sip of this. Okay, 3 gulps. It's really good. It's got organic half and half in it from a local farm. And fresh ground. I grind my own coffee beans. A friend of mine, shout out to Anya, told me about this. You can get Jose's coffee in big 2.5-pound bags from online only Costco. But I got that, and then I like to put in tinctures in mine. I put a little motherwort. Got that from the Wise Woman Herbal by Susan Weed. As far as realizing that it's really helpful for all ages of women. You can motherwort. Yeah. Hi to whoever the 2 are. Comment for me so I can see where you're from or who it is, and I can probably see your comment just so I know. Say hi. Don't make yourself a stranger. So the motherwort's in here, and then Hero's Journey is an ashwagandha blend. Well, we had one drop away instead. But welcome to the Little House of Healing. So Casita Polarity. Maybe people just ran out of time. I like to just put the coffee on top of the little fireplace. Can you see the fire in there? My story is today, I live in Oregon. I have cedar tree outside my door here. There's cedar, maple. I'm renting. I've rented this for 10 years from a friend. There's cedar, maple, plum trees. They're just like wild. They're not kept up or anything. But this is a wonderful setting. There's apple trees, Asian pear, cherry, pine trees just outside that other window. And so this is actually right now, until I outgrow it, I was advised by some really amazing business women who did the Pixie Raw kitchen. They said, just use your home until you outgrow it, because there's no reason to get a big institution and all that. So I've been doing great in here with up to 5 students. So it's a place where now expanding, I want to let it be known that I do speak Spanish as well. My heart is there for all the mamas, the families, mom, dad, grandparents with the babies. Those are really the babies' people. It's the babies that are the royalty of the earth, says John Chitty. But what is polarity? Well, polarity is how to become a household name. It's those opposites on this planet, in life, in the earth. We have hot, cold, night, day. I was getting a reflection. Hot, cold, night, day, giving, receiving. Especially with giving and receiving, we want balance. It doesn't mean you have to be always mediocre or never just over giving. It's just that balance, and finding it is when things get out of balance, not resting, doing, lots of doing, is our right side of our body is represented by the energy of our right side is outgoing. See how my arm's kind of going outwards, out away from me? That's awesome. It's giving. And then that's yang in traditional Chinese terms, medicine. And then yin is the receiving, is coming into you, giving what you're receiving, what you're taking in. And then sometimes with lots of screens, I just realized you're taking in too much, like just screen time. And so that's true. So say you're taking in too much screen time and consuming content, then you would want to create something. It doesn't necessarily mean create on social media. It could be playing a song, writing a poem, writing in your journal, doodling. So this little house is a way to share and support community and balance, to create balance in your life. If you're a practitioner, you can learn the body work that goes with it. We have this weaving the body chart. It's fascinating. So yeah, you'd want to have that interest in this. People, that don't quite have that inquisitive mind and curious mind won't necessarily latch onto these, I find. So this shows, why does it have the baby in the middle? Well, if you look closely, there's a lot of glare there. It shows how each body area, neck, head, feet, going all the way around, knees, thighs, each one has an element like fire, water, air, earth, has an element that has woven it. So it's stepping down from pure energy and pure light, has to get down to earth somehow. So it begins to slow and densify that vibration when you slow down and kind of densify. So as you look on the outer, the outer circle point, the shoulders are Gemini, which is air. And this kind of helps. It's a cheat sheet for helping you remember until you memorize it, because you'll get to where, like me, you don't need a chart, but it's also really great to see it laid out like that. That you can create a session for a certain imbalance. So if someone is, now usually we talked about over consuming just now. If you're over consuming screen time, it's a little bitter, but I like it that way. I put a little bit of monk fruit in it. If you're over consuming, then you want to balance that and make sure that you're expressing. So if you're over listening and you're never expressing, that's your throat chakra. You want to begin finding ways to express yourself. Creativity is awesome, so that's a way of giving. Now, on the other hand, a lot of us overwork as well. So we overgive. If you're a caregiver, if you're a parent, this outside, you're doing a lot. You're doing the dishes, you're taking out the trash, you're changing diapers, you're listening to the boo-boo, putting a Band-Aid on the skinned knee, you're at work, like literally doing your job, maybe overworking, doing overtime, and then when you get home, helping with all the family things, cleaning your car, working in the yard, trying to get all these things done, and maybe even then creating content, trying to also promote your side gig that you want it to become your full-time. So that's like go, 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 give, give, give. In that case, your body probably feels that tension, like neck and shoulders, over giving, and that right hand, that right side of the body is like the sunshine. It's the yang, it's the outgoing. So in that case, I'm glad you're receiving this as a slow to the Kasita polarity, a little home of healing, to be welcoming and demystify Dr. Randolph Stone's polarity teachings. These are everyday building blocks. They're kind of like the primary colors, blue, red, yellow. We get those in our body. We have colors vibrating in us, but that's more on that later. So then it's time to, I say that when people come in and they get a polarity, I put it together with some massage. And then we have once they're settled, people kind of get a chance to land in the treatment room. And it's like a safe cave where you begin to connect to the present moment of your body and notice yourself like, oh, I guess everything's okay and I can slow down, and the nervous system begins to slow down. As I say, this is perfect. You're receiving here. You're resting from creating and doing things. So that's the yin. The left side of the body is receiving that yin. And of course, they interact with the chakras spinning along the mid-body. So it's something I say, when I see that, which a lot of us are, just out of balance, doing and stressing. And if we're not doing, we're thinking about what needs to be done. So polarity therapy, Dr. Stone was named it that because he wanted to honor all the cultures that he received information from. China, India, Egypt, Hermetic, even the osteopathy, he was a DO, that also had influences by bone setters in the U.S. land here, this continent, were the Shawnee, Cherokee, body workers, bone setters, women, that he observed, not Dr. Stone, but who's considered the father of osteopathy as a child, did grow up among the Shawnee, and his father was a doctor for the Shawnee on a reservation or land. They had good relationships eventually, so there's quite an interesting story on that. But Dr. Stone wanted to honor the cultural roots and anywhere he got this information. So he has not just that, there's a great video by John Chitty. If you Google The Origins of Polarity Therapy by John Chitty, we'll talk about the various people, Manly Hall, different esoteric contributors, and that he, with his intuition as a meditator and a naturopathic doctor who also became a midwife, he used, because back then you had to, there was a lot going on back then. The Flexner Report, I've mentioned in other videos. And the Polarity Therapy Association in North America has a wonderful class by Glenn Weimer right now, too, that I really recommend. You can go to polaritytherapy.org and look for the classes that are online right now. And there's a great endocrine system one, too, by Janice Marie in North Carolina. These are things that they presented earlier this year at our Polarity Therapy Conference in Miracle Hot Springs, the desert. So polarity is trying to simply, acknowledge, and that's very powerful, to acknowledge and see the human polarity field, electromagnetic frequency and field. that's been downplayed because it's very powerful. And when we tune into that and we understand that we have that, I see it all the time in the treatment room. The minute I just simply acknowledge the client's system, even their nervous system, especially the water of the body, the sensation, the weight, the gravity of the body, these types of things, or just what my hands are in contact with. You know, this is an ankle. Oh, wow, it's a calcaneus bone. Wow. And just asking it, how's it been to be that? So acknowledging the polarity that we're in right now, underneath all that is a unity. There is a stillness. However, acknowledging that polarity, light, dark, day, night, hot, cold, is why, I guess, you know, why he chose the name polarity therapy. And it's Dr. Stone's polarity therapy. So that's good morning and welcome to the Little House of Healing. And I wanted to start, you know, come back on here a lot more. I keep saying that, but I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be talking. If you're looking for a fast, shiny, you know, like that, and you don't want to just hang out with the folks, this isn't the place for you. So don't worry about it. The ones that are kind of down for this, that are ready for that down home and to slow down your nervous system and learn how to heal yourself, because it's experiential. It could be experimental too. Yeah, just try it as an experiment for yourself and say, how's this feeling for me when you get a session or when you read the books or you try something? I would start with, I don't know, maybe Dr. Stone's health building book. It's on Amazon. It's called Health Building, and it gives you some insights into the nutrition as well as the body movement and the body exercises. So in Mexico in December, I've just got a new website, and it's not built up for that event particularly yet, but it will be soon. But I do have a way to apply for that. If you go to my scheduling page on Acuity, hi there, give me a comment. I can't see any comments. Just say hi if you're on. I mean, if you're into something, welcome to the Little House of Healing, Casita Polarity. And again, on the scheduling page, ccummins.as.me, you can find out more about the 5-day Mexico training that contributes towards, it stands alone, or it contributes towards a practitioner certification as a level 1 membership level with the American Polarity Therapy Association. I am an approved training manager with APTA, and registered polarity educator and practitioner, studied and practiced since 1985. So I'm excited about the little town of San Marcos. I'm trying a new town. Some of you that know me were probably assuming I was going to Los Barriles. Los Barriles is, which will be the rest of the training in April. So that's not up yet, but it is definitely, I'm going to try to phrase it so that, or set it up so that people that sign up for this 5-day in San Carlos, which is on the mainland, beautiful beaches there, which I'm excited to try a new place. And it's within a drive from Tucson. So not a bad drive from there, or you fly into Hermosillo. Hermosillo Airport. We'll have shuttles available, or you could rent a small car or rent a car, or there are shuttles from we're actually having it at a retreat center in San Carlos. So we'll have that there, and they provide shuttles for a fee, so we can ask them I have a student in Hermosillo that may be able to ride share. So talk to me. There's lodging at very affordable lodging. It's incredible. So for right now, as far as I'm in Oregon, it truly is a place where you can receive a polarity cranial treatment with me. I'm limited in my availability as I am working full time in a clinic, a franchise, so I do that. But I have some spots available, so you could probably, get in, whether it's a few weeks wait or not. And then there will be also classes again here. There's not classes at the moment here. This is in the Cedar Mill area, up from Cedar Hills Boulevard. And my Google business is going through a brand change, so they want to verify me. So I have to get a sign out in front to get re-verified. That's a pain. So, but that should be showing. I think it's under the name Cottage Craniosacral right now. And we're going to, so you can look that up in Google Maps for Cottage Craniosacral and see some of my reviews. My website is Casita Polarity. So anyway, yeah, it's been very cool showing up, and I better get going because I got a long day ahead of me. So I hope you're well. I truly would like to see who stopped by. But like I said, if it's not for you, if you don't want the slow, I don't do things. I mean, certainly I use AI for some things. I look up Google Maps. I ask a few questions here and there about things to see, because it can search for me. I do use AI for some things. I might try to use it for some more things, but in general, I want to have this be analog. So we write things by hand. We talk as real people. There's pauses in between sentences, but you will see some more polished short snippets from me. But in general, my story is that I had been a pastor's kid, and I was the oldest child after losing my brother, who was born right before me. He was 3 days old. It was very traumatic, and it really wasn't acknowledged back then. And so people downplayed it to my mom, bless her heart. So she wasn't really allowed or had space to grieve that. But I came in that midst, and so it kind of messed with my head at times. And I'm learning how impactful that really was on me. And I really appreciate my brother, because he gets it. My little brother. Now, he made it. He made it. And I made it. We're here. But as a pastor's kid, then I somehow just, with deep, 4 planets in Scorpio, and had Uranus, planet of disruption, in my home space in my chart, with Pluto, that was also in my home in my chart with my mom. That's very, it goes deep. They're both, that's just a really sign of going very deep, even when it would shake things up. So I was the rebel. It showed in my rebelliousness. And there's things I love about the church, that we were friends. We were Quaker oriented, origins, and have Quaker roots of abolitionists. I'm really grateful for that. And yet there was still that imprint of the more rigidity. And I think that's what my free spirit was rebelling against at the time. Being the oldest. So I rebelled, and I was seeking out more esoteric wisdom. I wanted to go deeper into things. And so I began at an organic farm. I ran off with artists and musicians after high school, and ended up there for almost 2 years, which would have been fine, except some of the philosophy that I took on blindly was really out of balance, didn't have good, about how to raise kids. They said that, you just gotta do your wild life, and the kids just come along for the ride. That's what we were kind of taught there on the farm. I was only 17, so thinking I was doing my own children a favor by having a wild life, which, meaning you adapt maybe nomadic, or you just pick up and move. So things like that were pretty hard on my kids, and I can see it looking back. And so unfortunately but the fortunate part about that was I was part of a team, and we were reversing cancer and degenerative diseases with juicing on a Norwalk juicer and a press, with cleansing and nourishing with greens and wheatgrass and so forth. And we saw it reverse right before my eyes. At age 17, 18, I was part of the team. I would make salads, I would make the juices, and then saw the diagnosis change, have it be completely cleared. So if it wasn't for that, I think I knew about that because I met Viktoras Kulvinskas. He came to the farm, and that's partly because of him is why I went to the farm, because of his book promoting uncooked foods, uncooked sprouting, and so forth. And so that made a big impression on me, that then later when I did study polarity therapy, so shortly after leaving that farm, having a baby at 5 months with my first husband in the mountains of California, which didn't work out eventually, but this is the whole angel story, that I ended up at Marriott Hot Springs in the hot springs training with Anna Chitty, was the director at the time, Tom Strathern, Gary Peterson, James Arena, Frank Wells. It was a huge staff of people and very resourced. So I began training there in my early 20s and lived there for 2 years. So, but despite that, when that group broke up, I think that's a longer story. The group sold the Hot Springs Resort and sort of became individualized again. And the Chitties, though, kept their school going in Boulder, thankfully. And so I'm still connected today to them. And that she began working with trauma resolution, which wasn't really known to that degree at all when I first learned polarity therapy. And so I'm not going to say it's an overnight thing, because I was going the slow motion route, which is fine too, but just slowly decompressing my nervous system and letting it learn to self-regulate. And it doesn't mean you don't make mistakes so that you never blow up, because that does happen for me, but it does happen less and less. And I'm beginning to recognize it. Oh, this is what you do when you feel hopeless. I see. So how about we don't lash out? Because you find out later that it actually is not hopeless, So that's part of trauma resolution, is that because your brain goes into fight or flight, and it truly makes, at that point, everything seems reasonable when you're in fight or flight. So over those years of ups and downs, and then full circle around to having one of my adult daughters live with me, and I'm learning more. Yes, I do blow up here and there, but it's shorter, it's less damaging, and I'm able to provide a stability. And the past 10 years has been amazing transformation for me. So these things don't necessarily have that before and after, a real clean, well, the minute I learned polarity, my whole life was heavenly. Well, no. Did I have heavenly tools? Did I have long intervals of heaven? Yes. Did I have times of confusion and doubt and self-destruction? Yes. But it's something that I keep coming back to, that is like home for me. So I wanted to create this rather than it is an advanced polarity practitioner training that I do. I do have advanced, trauma resolution that I bring into the required curriculum. And yet at the same time, I wanted it to be, not take it so seriously, have it be accessible to people who've never done it before, to realize you don't need a string of degrees to have this. that you don't need a string of degrees to begin to benefit by the therapies. So I'm going to go ahead and save this video, and you put some captions on it, possibly a little bit of, I don't know, I think I look pretty good, but I usually put a little filter and then have some short stories. So if something in this interests you or piqued your interest in particular, please put it in the comments below. That would help the video to reach others. Or I often delete these lives after I save them. At this point in my career, it makes sense for me because Facebook deletes them eventually after 30 days because they're so long, and it is a lot of storage space. So yeah, just wanted to hear. Let's take the little other one. Just wanted to welcome you to this little house of healing. It's open to all ages. It helps us treat our baby self in a way, and not to be, you still you're also your warrior self, but you have a part of yourself to acknowledge, that part of your life, that even if your brain doesn't cognitively remember being a baby, your body memory does, because your body was there, you were that baby. And it's uncanny how the birth patterns influence everyday life. So it's, what I'm doing is simply acknowledging that all stages of life that are in our consciousness, and giving each stage space to perhaps heal and unwind and decompress in a very gentle way. It doesn't have to be, I know that people, or even myself in the past, have been like, oh, I don't want to get all gooey and touchy-feely about my whole life. Like, you don't have to. It's not like that. It's not meant to be, okay, let's get sucked into this and overwhelmed again. That's the beauty of the somatic experiencing by Peter Levine. That's Anna Chitty really heavily draws into her blueprint resonance and the polarity therapy trainings. I'm in blueprint resonance right now, by the way, with Anna Chitty. So, welcome to the Little House of Healing, Casita Polarity, with Polarity Cranial Somatics. I'm C. Cummins, and this is way longer. Hey, howdy. Give me a hello. I'm just finishing up. So, love you. Bye-bye.